actual like provisions. And then this lady in England, right after we had to flee, the Holy Ghost told us, how's this for fun, right? This is funny. So when something bad happens to you, like it was really bad. You have to flee a nation and you barely escape prison. You're homeless. Your life and your horses and your dogs and you know your swimming pool and everything's there and you can't go there and you're homeless and your dreams are broken. How is this for the Holy Ghost? Right? Oh, Brian. You think he said that? You know what he told me? And I was thinking like, okay, I've been pretty much awake for 48 hours. Almost like, had the U.S. Embassy guy call and say, you're going down. So, like serious stuff like that. And then got delivered by the Lord. Angels came on. But it was like crazy. Everything's kind of like broken now. At least if we look at it from this perspective, humanly. But actually, the Holy Ghost, we go into prayer, and these people take us into their lodge, and the guy who lives there had been with Reinhard Bonnke and got kicked out of the same nation. And so he was just like, you can stay here for free, And so we're in this room, and we get with our Australian little staff, and they're crazy. But we've been through a lot. And so, the Lord's like so nice. You know what the Lord says? He says, I want you to go to France and the UK and punish the devil. And what is, and it's like, what? I was like, and so we go to Surprise's church that night, and there's all these intercessors, and they're these big white Africans, South Africans, and they're like, the Lord would say unto you, you must punish the enemy for this, and go and preach in France. And like, that was real. So we booked our flights to England, and people are opening their doors to us because there was no plan of like a preaching tour or whatever. And so, and then we're in Preston, England. And this is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. So, I don't know, can you guys all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay back there? So in Preston, England, there's this couple. And everywhere I went on this trip to England, because the Holy Ghost will bring out things he wants to at the right time. Like to us, it was like, oh, everything's being robbed from us or something like that. But he's like, I want you to go to England. And everywhere that we didn't plan to preach, some of them were pretty prominent churches. There was always a mixed UK couple, which means like a Scot was married to England, Welsh married to Irish. There was always an English one though, married to a Celt one. If you don't understand the history of the UK, I've lived there. And have you seen Braveheart?
Yes.
Right? So England, although they've done some amazing things, I love England. They did a lot of bad stuff, and especially to Ireland and it's not me, is it?
No, that was me.
Okay, Ireland and Scotland and stuff. And so, but there's a guy named Bob Jones. Has everybody heard of Bob Jones?
Yeah.
So, Bob Jones, one of the two things he told me in my life prophetically, and it was in a swimming pool. It's kind of funny, because I kept wanting to go to his house because I knew where he lived. I had a relationship with him, and the Holy Ghost was like, not letting me go. It's like, I'm going to bake him cookies or something. Because, this guy's revelation was like crazy. And so he goes, you'll talk to him. And then we're like in the swimming pool at the Christian community we're at, and he like prophesies over us in the swimming pool. And one of the things he talks about, and he didn't even know we were moving to Ireland, and we were moving to Belfast. He starts prophesying about Belfast, and he said it's the Jordan time there. He didn't know our name was Jordan. It was crazy. It's like Sean Bowles is now starting to kind of walk in, and Bob was just like full on, just like, and Sean, it's awesome. But and one of the things that he said is, unite the kingdom in prayer. God's speaking to England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland about uniting in prayer. It'll go down in Belfast. But there was this whole thing. Tell them when the revival hits and they unite in prayer that it's not just about, it's for the nations. He kept saying, it's for the nations. It's to go out to the nations, to go out to the nations. So as we're going in there, everywhere there's like these mixed couples. So we go to this one place where the husband is a Scot and she's from England. And I mean, they're living in England, but he's Scottish. And it was the wildest thing because there are these happy white people that we never met. Like, I guess I'm Italian, so and I'm American, but like these very like the people in the UK are very white. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got sunburned on the beach, but they would be like crab people if they went out there. And so, then they're there, and we're hanging out and we're laughing all morning, laughing. Our kids are there. I mean, and we're laughing about how we're homeless and they have this big farmhouse and feeding us all this food, and we just almost like laughed the whole time. So much joy. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, so who's like your like spiritual fathers or something? He goes, well, he's like, you know, he's a cult, so he's like, well, Brian, you know, I'll tell you, it's kind of interesting. But when T.D. Jakes has his conference on, we're the only whites there. And so he's like one of T.D. Jakes' main spirits. So I'm like, this is one of the weirdest things I like. He was probably about the last person I would guess is like your spiritual covering and father. But it was like so cool because they're like really like in love with him. He's in love with them. And it was just such a funny thing. And then we prophesied over them and threw all these prophetic words in the river because it was like contaminated, and God like fixed the river. It was wild and got them a place. But then the wife like just starts prophesying over us, and she's like, I see liquid gold. And I'm like, whoa, surprise. Boom. Wow. That word again, liquid gold. And I hadn't thought about it again really until this trip. And tonight he said that just there. And my wife was talking about some of the stuff and he started tapping into that too. And when that happens, the Holy Spirit's really hitting on those things. And like I said, you know, we're moving back. And last night I was with Lou Engle, and I hadn't been really like with him for 8 or 9 years. I mean, I've been like at an event, like standing there, you know, but like where you're like in a group like this, and he was like the whole night like rocking and telling the prophetic history of Mod Auditorium and stuff. And then I had some stuff to add about different missions and different pastors, and we were blessing this guy Mondo who took over our ministry at USC that's now working with Lou, and he's about to launch this Akbalo School of Ministry, kind of fusion school between USC and the U.S. Center for World Missions up there, and they're believing for this. And so it was so cool to just keep hearing and resurrecting all these stories. And we remember that, Lou, in 2005? And you go, oh my gosh, man, I don't, you know, and you'd be like, you know, just going crazy. But it's so cool because it reminds you of like the things and where you've been, and even like how much God's grown, or because I really believe that when we're reminded of the victories and the failures, we grow. Because if we just throw the failures, oh, that's a, you know, like I remember one time I was at a Word of Faith church, and God bless those guys, they're saved and stuff, and they love Jesus. But I was at this Word of Faith church in South Africa. And I really want you guys to catch this tonight because I want you to get some of this and it's activated tonight. I'm not going to talk so much tonight as I want to activate, and I want to see your prophetic promises popping. So I know there's like a lot of moving around, but like let's try to bring it in. If there's people in the kitchen, try to come in. And I know the tacos are tempting, but you know, we should have taco break. But let's have Holy Ghost tacos right now. So where was I going with that? Oh man, I was talking about tacos. I forgot my whole trip.
Prophetic.
Word of faith. So I'm in South Africa. I mean, this is a trip, right? This happened at USC. Oh, well, that's a good one. USC. 2 or 3 times I was still at USC, late 2000s. I would start talking to other prophets in our thoughts.
Back and forth.
And then they're like, this is like Star Trek, it's not real. And then all of a sudden they go, Brian, come up here. And you're like, holy crap, like he heard me, like out of a crowd. Or like, yeah, that's right. You know, it's like, so I'm in this place, 2011.